On today's episode of the Five Squad podcast, we're stepping into my world, the world of content creation. So if you are an entrepreneur out there, hopefully this episode will help you start making content for yourself. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Five Squad podcast. For those that do not know me, my name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And we are the lovely,
your favorite word,
lovely husband and wife duo that are just up here talking about our lives, the things that we do, and hopefully somebody out there likes the messaging that we have. But today is a great episode because it's something that I love.
Today is your day.
I guess today is my day. Today's the spotlight on me. If you guys couldn't tell, we have like 6 lights on us right now.
No, they can't tell.
I know. But today I wanted to talk about content creation. And the reason that I want to talk about content creation is because it's kind of like my platform. It's what I do for a living. I make content for myself. I make content for other entrepreneurs and businesses kind of here in my local area. And it is just something that I like to talk about. So we're going to dive headfirst into this one. And I hope that you will be a good wingman with me on this one, because there's parts of things that I know that you aspire to do that might involve doing content one day. And you might be able to give the people out there that might have some of the same mentality around content.
I was actually going
to say
kind of
like a leg up or an encouragement.
I was actually
right?
going to say, if you haven't watched enough of our, episodes,
go back and watch them
Go
now.
back and watch, because you would know that everything that he loves, I don't love, or everything that I love, he doesn't love. So he really loves content, and I probably, most of you might, or some of you might relate to my perspective of like the fearful, unknown, unsure about
Which
it all.
I still go through myself. Like,
of course,
like I
but
was
it's
just
not
telling
like
you the other day, I was filming some ads and I was like, gosh, this was like the worst experience ever. And then get to the editing table and my editor helps me, look like I've been doing it for 15 years. So
Well, it's because we're our own worst critic.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So, but to dive headfirst into this, the real first topic here is just why create content for yourself. And this is really going to be tailored to I'm tailoring this message towards business owners, entrepreneurs. Anybody out there can be a content creator. You could use the platforms to their ability to generate money and do all of that stuff. And if that's the thing that you want to do with your life, that is totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But my messaging for this episode is going to be if you own a business out there and the importance, kind of making content for yourself. But, the number one thing that I think content should be used to do is simply an awareness stage.
Absolutely. And I think most people don't realize that that's
what I
really
hate
important.
when I get on any social media platform, whatever. If I'm scrolling through a reel and it's not a sponsored ad and somebody's standing up there, hey, I'm Jim Bob from the local corn cob shop and we have the best corn cobs in the nation. And like, people just don't care. Like, people might find Jim Bob interesting,
right?
But you can't just stand up there and be I call it the used car salesman.
Are you saying, okay, let me just reel you back in really quick.
Reel me back in.
Are you saying like your platform is not always meant for sales? Is that what you're saying, that you don't really like?
Yeah.
You like, what's most important with your content is sharing things so that your audience or potential audience is aware of you and your brand.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, that's
like,
exactly
you
what I was
shouldn't be
thinking.
selling in your content. Like,
All the
you
time.
can drop stuff here and there, little nuggets of,
Right.
depending on what you do, right? You can drop those things there in your call to actions and different things like that, but you should be doing that sparingly. If that's your focus, then use content as ads.
Right.
Like, that's the way that you do that. But too many people try and have they try and invest time into content and then they get up in front of a camera and then they just want to talk about like
Their product
or this. And then it's like, just nobody really cares if you just come from that angle.
But that's where I think your business is, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't think people realize how important it is to have somebody like you or Vandrews behind them, because not everybody understands what the purpose of content is. People think like it's just showing your face on social media.
Right.
There's actually structure and strategy and all of that goes into it.
And there is. And there's two kind of sides to every coin, right? But, I think in growing a following, it should be an aspiration if you're investing in content, right? Like
Well,
you
of course,
should be wanting to grow like a sector of people that know who you are and they use your services or your products or whatever, right? But man, how do I want to phrase this? It's kind of I get like this sometimes with my coaching stuff. It's kind of like I can say it 17 ways in my head, but I don't know how to really say it. But creating that audience doesn't necessarily have to be the reason why you start making content. Like,
Absolutely.
Like some people can start with ads.
Absolutely.
Like you can start generating, because through ads you also, what's the word? Inadvertently grow a following because you're paying for the impression.
Right. And if you just start, a lot of times that's where I think me in this conversation is so afraid. Like you don't even want to start because you don't feel like you're ready. You don't think you have the right things to say. But if you just start, I heard you on a call recently talking about this, or somebody was talking about it, you and another coach, I think. If you just start, you'll get the feedback that you need that will change your wording, your offering, what types of content you're sharing or whatever, but you'll never know what your audience or following needs until you just start.
Right.
Like they'll tell you what they need or want.
And you just said it right there, like kind of like you don't know what to make and how to make, what you don't know that you need. Right. So how do we start to identify what we need? Well, we get the feedback. Right. From we tried a bunch of different things, kind of like shooting a shotgun. You shoot a big blast and you see what, stuck to the wall.
Okay.
Right. Like that should be everybody's initial kind of, I would say, launch. Right. Because you could prep 3 months to say,
and then what if the people don't like it, or the people that you are like speaking to aren't the people that are responding to your content? You're like, oh wait, this isn't right. I didn't want to talk to dads. I wanted to talk to moms. Like,
right.
Obviously that's a big,
right.
That's not who your audience is.
But there's a lot of people that I see, they stick with like the trend stuff. Right. So if like they're heavy Instagrammers or whatever, they'll find the trending sounds or the trending little whatever. And like, that's the only thing that they do. And I see a lot of people, like this is more on TikTok that I see this, but I've gone to some people's pages and it's literally like 30 videos in a row. It's the same
trending
trend.
audio.
It's the same thing.
Trend?
It's the same trend, but they're just redoing it like in a different location, trying to like get that thing to hit.
But you see, I wonder, that's what
like
I was
they're trying to
say.
go viral for like no real reason.
That's what I was going to say. I think the why behind content for some of these people is so they're unsure of their why, because you don't want to just go viral. If you go viral, it's not bringing you anything necessarily just because this many people liked it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean those are going to convert into customers.
No, that's
at all.
I tell a lot of people too sometimes, like when I have like discovery calls with people or whatever, they'll be like, oh, so you're the content guy, you're going to make me go viral. And like, I just ask them all the time, like, why do you want to go viral? Oh, well, I want a lot of followers. I'm like, you can't guarantee that you're going to get a bunch of followers from that. You're going to get a lot of maybe people that watch the video,
but you also want
viral.
the right followers. Like but I'm saying if you're using your social media platform and your content creation for your business or your solopreneur, journey, you definitely don't want random, like you don't want someone that doesn't believe in skincare. If you're trying to sell skincare, that's not the type of follower you want. You want the right ones. It's quality over quantity, right? You got to remember. Sometimes I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
you want to have qualified.
Yeah,
people
if you're going to eventually
following.
try and sell them something, this messaging is tailored towards somebody that has a business as an entrepreneur. Like if you're a content creator and you're just Susie Q down the street, like. Do the dance TikTok stuff,
If
do the whatever, and you'll eventually make money on the platform and whatever. But if the platform goes away, your money stops, right? So it's kind of like you have to figure out how to translate those skills, or translate?
Yep.
transition those skills
Oh,
into
yeah.
other things. But I think that's why it's important to really understand the kind of content you should eventually figure out that you should be making. Like for me, when I make content, like I want to help people figure something out, or I want to
Right.
help like somebody shift their mindset, or I want to educate them on a facet of something, right? Like that's what I want my content to do. And I think like just coming from that goodwill standpoint, that will inadvertently turn into money for me somewhere down the road. Like I'm not trying to grow some giant following to say that I have
500
100,000 followers. Like I'm not trying, I don't care
So
about
for
that.
me, I think more of like the MLM affiliate marketing type of content, what my overall goal will be when I ever do content, because I'm so afraid of it. But my bottom line message is that you can do it. No matter where you are in life, no matter how many children you have, how many jobs you have, like whatever you want out of life, you can have it. That's like the main thing that I want to get out there. So if it's educating them on motherhood, if it's educating them on the products that you're using, if it's educating on how you dress, like my overall goal is for my following to be empowered, feel empowered, and if they buy something that they see from my content, that's great. That's how, the money aspect will, come for me in terms of content.
Yeah.
But I don't,
I want to round out this episode because we're almost done here, but I want to round out this episode with kind of something that you're touching on a little bit, in as to what do you believe holds you back the most from jumping into content? Because I think your answer is the same answer for a lot of people.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
I didn't practice this at all, but I think what's holding me back is the following that I have right now are people that I know, and I'm afraid of their judgment. But if I were to create and establish a platform of my, target audience or my target following, I think it would be less worrisome because they're connecting with me on a level of sameness. That's not the right word, but whereas right now, most of my following is people I've known, people like my family, old friends, and it's just that fear of judgment. I think not necessarily especially for women, but we're more judgy in a sense. And I think, oh, look at her trying to, sell makeup and shampoo and clothes and jewelry, and who does she think she is? That's kind of what I think comes into my mind when I think about content.
Yeah. So kind of the judgment side, what I get in a lot of, talks that I have with people.
Or fear that it's not going to be good enough.
I think that they want a certain look to their content. Like most of the people that I deal with, business owners, like they want this certain look to their content, but then it's the whole like,
my house isn't pretty enough.
Well, this is what the client wants, and then this is the budget that they have, and it goes from like the real big camera to like an iPhone. And it's like, it's out there. It's just you have to start doing it for yourself before you come to somebody like me and are like, okay, let's work together.
Right.
Like you have to kind of try for yourself, because then you understand when I drop a price on you, why I'm dropping a price on you.
Well, I think also aesthetic for me, and maybe other women out there too, is a big thing. A lot of the content that I follow and that I love is very aesthetically pleasing, and I live in my house. You know what I mean? Like I live where I would have to film, and I don't feel like it's pretty enough.
Sure.
And it holds me back. I could go here and do this background, and I don't like any of it. And this kind of reminds me of what you dealt with the other day, that I didn't expect you to not like your background. And watching you go through sort of the uncertainty that I feel on a regular basis, I was like, okay, so it's not abnormal to want a nice space.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. No, for sure. And me be doing it for 3 years, struggled with that the entire way through it.
But you still do it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And that's the bottom line.
That's where a lot of people stop. They don't keep going. They're like, oh, that sucked, and I didn't want to feel that again, so they stop doing it.
But it's like any other muscle. You have to build yourself and your strength through getting the no's. I'm not interested. This is ugly. This isn't good. Because I bet if we went to your very first video that you ever posted on social media, oh my gosh, do you remember?
The one of Christian climbing the tree.
But do you remember we used to say like, oh, we're never going to do reels?
Yeah, I know, right? And then here we are.
Podcast.
Boom, boom, boom.
But I'm saying if we would have gone all the way back, you would probably pick that apart like nobody's business.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying, like you would be able to visibly see your growth.
I think I would appreciate what I do now,
right?
Like, more. So,
but you started, and you still go, and you still just like with the podcast. We started in one place. We've been in this place. We've been in this place. But we always make it work, and we still show up. We don't just say like, we have to be at our church. Like,
right.
we're
I like
grateful.
being here.
I love it too.
If you like this setup, please drop a comment.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you find a way to just do it.
Gotta make it work. Just do it like Nike, right? But
not sponsored. But we would love
not
to
sponsored,
be.
not sponsored here. But I love me some Nike shoes. But that brings us to the end of this episode. Like, that one flew by real fast.
I think because we've been talking about content so much lately, especially on our walks and everything.
Probably.
You're going to make a content creator out of me one of these days.
One of these days. You
and
guys,
hopefully
she's
we'll
gonna
do the
be out
same
here
for y'all.
like she's gonna be doing all of the dances and doing all the things.
Are you calling me a trendy?
Yeah, you're more trendy than I am. I hate that stuff. But if you guys made it through this entire episode, we really appreciate it.
We do.
You know, the people that have been giving us the good feedback, the followers that have followed us over on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, all of that. Our TikTok though has been, I think it's TikTok itself. I don't think it's us. It just like,
come on,
boom,
TikTok,
like,
show
I
up.
have no idea what's going on over there. But if you're not subscribed on any one of our channels, please go do that. You can find it in the description of this video. Your feedback is welcomed because we only get better and talk about the things that you guys want to hear about by getting the feedback from you guys. So if you can drop comments or anything, that would greatly help us out. But we just want to leave you the same way that we have left you for the last 2 months now, and knowing that every day is a new chance to get it right. So make sure that you keep going.